Hey guys, I'm Greg. Welcome to Gregsbeerreviews today. Let's go see what's in the fridge today, guys. Hey guys, thanks for stopping by Gregsbeerreviews today. Today's beer comes from Jack's Abbey Brewing. These guys are known for doing their craft lagers. This is their Framinghammer Barrel Aged Cordon Rouge. And according to the bottle, what it says here, aged in brandy barrels, IBUs are 45. The ABV is, well, I thought it had it on here. It says orange peel, brewed and bottled by Jack's Abbey. It's got the government warning on it. I don't see. It's got the IBUs, but it doesn't have the ABV on it. I thought it did. It's got to have that on it, guys. So these guys need to step up to the plate. And they do have a date on the bottle. It says Velat. Looks like 310, 0309 2017, March the 9th of 2017. These guys need to put the ABV on the bottle. It is not written on the bottle. Unfiltered, unpasteurized. They got the IBUs and they got the Plato. We could do without the Plato, guys. Put the damn ABV on the bottle. So we want to see the IBUs, the ABV, and the bottled on date. You've got 2 out of 3. Am I drinking a 5%er? Am I drinking a 10%er? Needs to be on the bottle. So shouldn't have to look it up to find that out, guys. So thumbs down on not having the ABV on the bottle. I've done the Framinghammer edition of this, the regular version. I've done the bourbon barrel version, and the bourbon was absolutely non-existent in it. I'm curious to see how this one stacks up to that. They all three have been sent to me by Rico, my brother. The note he sent here says Cordon Rouge Barrel Aged Framinghammer at 11.5% Baltic Porter aged in brandy barrels with orange peel, 45 IBUs. He said he picked it up last week and it was $10 for this one bottle. A little pricey, but it's barrel aged, they say. We'll see if we'll get any of that in the taste and the aroma. Bottle on date is on the label, like he says. Released every April. Also has a new label design for this year. Well, that new label design ought to have the ABV written on it. That's my 2 cents worth on that, guys. So let's get on with it. Commercial description here on Rate Beer says aged in brandy barrels with orange. That's short and sweet. So there's nothing else we need to talk about. So let me get this thing down and get the top off of it. Nice little hiss, little bit of smoke. And while I am pouring it into the glass, I will tell you the cuisine is barbecue, the cheese is the earthy Camembert Fontina, the meat is beef, smoked meat, and game, and grilled meat. Glassware is pint, Becker, Nonic, tumbler, mug, Stein, Sidel. I'm using my favorite tulip glass, a solid beer glass again. It's my favorite glass. That's why you see it all the time, guys. This is the perfect glass to do beer reviews in. Absolutely perfect. And I can't get it all in there. This is a slightly bigger bottle than a 12-ouncer. And it says here can be sold for a long period of time. It's a barrel-aged beer, so I can't think of a reason why you could not. About a half a finger of head on that pour. It is pretty dark, guys. I'm not getting any. It looks like a stout. Doesn't look like a porter. I'm not getting any red mahogany tinges in the bottom of the glass. To the nose we go. I'm getting a lot of rich roasted malt. hints of toffee, caramel, maybe a slight hint of some bittersweet chocolate. I am not getting the barrel aging on the nose. So evidently these guys are not using first run barrels, or if they are, they're not leaving it in the barrels very long. I'm just not getting it, guys. This is just like the one we did that was bourbon barrel. The bourbon was basically non-existent on the nose and the taste. Maybe just a slight hint at the end when it warmed up to room temperature. I am not getting it on the nose. Let's see if I can get it on the taste. Cheers, everybody. Cheers, Rico. Thank you, my brother. I do appreciate it, sir. I am getting a little bit of that on the brandy on this. Definitely a little more potent than the bourbon barrel version was. But I'm not getting it on the nose. The alcohol seems to be very well hidden for a magnitude of this beer at 11.5%. So it's a very well made beer, I will say that. Big time character on the roasted malt, guys. I am getting a lot of nice roasted malt. It does have a nice sweetness on the back end. Maybe they didn't want a big overpowering bourbon beer or a big overpowering brandy beer. Maybe they just want that subtle nuance of it. If I'm paying that much money for it, I want to taste it. I want it to be there. I am getting more influence on the brandy version than I did from the bourbon barrel version. I will say that. It is very pleasant. It is very pleasant. But I was expecting more than what I'm getting. But it is there. It is there, guys. And it may open up a little bit. It's right out of the fridge, 40 degrees. It may open up a little bit once it's in the glass for a little bit, and then it starts coming up to room temperature. It's right out of the fridge. So let's do that. Let's take it out on the deck. I might have to fire up a little Maduro wrapped cigar to go with this nice dark beer. Let her taste it and see what we end up with. I'm a little more pleased with what I've got here on this edition than I was from the regular edition. I mean from the bourbon barrel edition. I couldn't tell a whole lot of difference from the regular edition and the bourbon barrel edition. I mean, they were so close. It didn't justify paying the extra money for the bourbon barrel on the bourbon edition as opposed to the regular edition. This one, a little more noticeable. So, let me sip on it for a while and we'll be right back. Alright guys, I'm back. I just left here. This is a slightly better version than the regular bourbon barrel edition that I did the other day. The Framinghammer regular version was pretty close to the bourbon barrel. I wasn't getting a whole lot of bourbon barrel on that. Did not justify the price that Rico paid for that beer as opposed to the regular version. If you had told me, if I was blindfolded and I was sipping both of them, I probably wouldn't have been able to tell the damn difference between them. So don't know if Jack's Abbey was using fresh run bourbon barrels for that beer or something that had beer in it before. This one is just a little bit different. I am getting some of the brandy barrel notes on this. A little bit better than the original version and the bourbon barrel version. The brandy barrel version has a little bit more of those notes in there. Those hints of some woodiness and some oakiness in there, a little bit of vanilla. But it is still a little more on the subdued side than I would like to see something that you're paying a premium price for. So, I don't think it's to the 10 category, guys. I really don't. But it's a very nice, very pleasant beer. But I don't think, from what I have in front of me when I'm drinking, that it justifies what Rico paid for this beer, which was $10. I realize when they put them in the bourbon barrel, whether it's a fresh run or a used barrel that's had beer in it before, and set it, whether they age it a month, 2 months, 3 months, 6 months, a year. I don't think this beer was aged anywhere close to that. It'd be damn lucky if it was in the barrel. From what I'm getting, especially on the bourbon barrel version of it, I don't think they left it in there no more than 3 months. And even on that, if it had been a fresh run bourbon barrel, you would still get some of those notes from the bourbon and the oak and the woodiness that I did not get from that beer. This one, a little different. I am getting the brandy. It is subdued, but I am getting it. So, final chug. I do think this beer is the best of the three. The regular version, the bourbon barrel version, the brandy edition is a little bit better than the other two. So I do think this is an A beer. I just wish it had a little heavier brandy notes or the bourbon or the barrel notes than what I'm getting, but they are there. They're very subtle though. I do think it's an A beer, like I said. I'm going to give this a 9 out of 10 because I am getting more than I did from the other two. So, 95 is where I'm going to put this beer, guys. It's an A beer. It's right down the middle of the A category. Don't know if I would pay that much for this beer, getting the notes and the taste and the aromas that I'm getting right now. So, well, let's run over to Beer Advocate and see what they say. 89. I'm blowing those numbers off the chart there with a 95, and they're giving it an 89. Over to Rate Beer. Rate Beer says 96 overall, 89 in a style. I'm pretty close to that. Not giving it a 96, I'm giving it a 95, right down the middle. And our final check-in, we'll run over to Untappd. They have it at 4.02, which is in their A- category. So, I'm giving them the benefit of the doubt here, especially since it doesn't have the ABV on the label. It needs to have that, guys. You want to know how big a beer you're drinking or buying. They need to put that on there. They've got the bottled on date, they've got the IBUs, and they're giving us the SRM, which we want the ABV instead of that. We don't care what the color of the beer is. We pretty much figured that out. It's going to be a dark beer. Duh. So, put the ABV on the label, guys. That would help the consumer to know how big a beer they're buying. Is this a 6? Is it an 8? Is it a 10? No, it's 11 and a half. So you kind of want to know that information when you're buying it, especially when you're drinking it. If you're not drinking at home, a lot of times you buy it. Oh, yeah, don't matter to me. Or do you have to get your smartphone out or whatever to figure out what you're freaking buying? Put the ABV on the label, guys. That's more important than the SRM. Trust me, it is. But they want to reuse these labels over and over and over again. But they're putting the IBUs on it. If they're changing the recipe, the ABV may change, and the IBUs are probably going to change too. So I think that's pertinent information. So just my 2 cents. Just my 2 cents. Like I said, 95 for me, guys. Right down the middle of the A category. If you've had this one from Jack's Abbey, this is their Cordon Rouge Barrel Aged Framinghammer with the Brandy barrels. So let me know what you think, guys. Come back tomorrow. Let's see what's in that fridge. See you then.